Okay, recording. And so I can sync it up. So everybody, been about a week since I've posted a video, and I want to talk about the COD AM community, specifically somebody in that community for a second, and yeah, talk about the issues that are coming forward that people have had with that person. That is Cheetowunga specifically, and I wanted to film this really quickly to just mark everything down that has been that he's been accused of. I won't say flat out that he's done every single thing that people are throwing out, but there is a mountain of evidence, and it's grown since the CodZone thing. So, uh, the thing that I just saw between a conversation between Guzbomb and Fusion, where Guzbomb cites a DM screenshot between him and Fusion, where Fusion cites that Cheetowunga is the owner. He owns Dash. He has been scamming for years. I've gotten scammed out of his tournaments. Somebody won a giveaway, and he scammed the kid out of a PC after he paid for shipping. Uh, the other stuff were just today the cheating accusations that were brought to light, and it was a mountain of evidence that is going to be hard for anybody to deny. I've looked at the clips, and they are pretty plain. Uh, it's aggressively cheating. The other other thing that came out today was that he scammed somebody out of $1,000 for a tournament where the $1,000 was meant to go to the prize pool for the players, and instead it was just directly pocketed. I've even had conversations with owners of organizations where, he suggests sponsorships. The person asks him further, what am I going to get out of this sponsorship? Outside of, clout and recognition and exposure, not really anything. I talked to one more specifically, and he basically said as soon as I started asking him serious business questions, because I'm a serious business guy and I do serious business, he just kind of folded, avoided the questions, moved on, and came back to him still, do you want to throw money at this? The other stuff was during the COD zone, and it kind of got buried underneath COD zone, but he did mention it on a podcast with Spark. That was the IcyChiller situation. IcyChiller, uh, tournament organizer in the community. He isn't super well known on Twitter, but their company is pretty well established. Been doing it, he said, roughly 20 years when I spoke to him. And Cheeto essentially sent Icy after this guy after citing, uh, hey, I'm going to be the first one back. Nothing personal. Take the L. Fortnite dance, Fortnite dance. And I talked to Icy, and he basically told me, I've never had this interaction with Activision before, this negative interaction before. I've thrown Activision tournaments for COD, or I've thrown COD tournaments, tons, over the years. I think he cited roughly $15,000 last year in COD alone, and basically said, yeah, this guy sent them after me. Uh, when Cheeto was called on that, he essentially said, well, I was giving him a business connection. So, he should be thanking me. And IcyChiller even showed me DMs where he reached out to Cheeto before advertising on Cheeto's thread, where he said, hey, I'm sorry that your event got shut down in Oklahoma. If you would like any help, I am more than happy to provide you help with that. If anybody wants, hit me up and I'll send you the message. I've got the screenshot too. When people called him on this, and he even said something to me where I basically said, hey, I don't think you're really helping him in this situation. It seems more like you're harassing him. He said, let me pull up the message here. I didn't harass anyone. Without Activision approval, a bunch of people are going to fly across the country and spend money on Airbnbs just to get told at the door that they've got a cease and desist and can't host the event. You fucking idiot. That was to me. So I appreciate it. Takes one to know one. I simply gave him a direct connection. Since that time, the event has not been shut down, and Activision has shut down their live events. So bit of a bit of karma there. And IcyChiller, hope you're watching this. Wish you well. Outside of that, there is also the situation with CodZone. And I'll talk about two different pieces of this. One piece is something that nobody's talked about yet, or at least publicly. And that is my belief that he and CodZone were view botting on the day that they launched. I cite that, or my evidence for that is that when you do go to the CodZone Media Twitch page, the views do not match up whatsoever in terms of the number of viewers that they said that they had, roughly 1,000 on the day of launch, towards the end of the broadcast. I believe it was Burrs that cited that during the broadcast. And then it does not match up whatsoever to the views on the VODs, and more specifically, the views on the clips. Now, Twitch did implement a system where essentially the views on your VODs and when people check out your channel and the number of live viewers that you have, those all count towards viewers for VODs. He has roughly 601 views on one portion of the broadcast for NA Open, and he has 192 views on the 2 available broadcasts that they have, and 5 views on the grand finals. That was roughly 20 days ago, so March 1st. Now his clips, 13 views, 10 views, 7 views, 7 views, 6 views, 5 views. I cite these because all of these would be included in adding up to the overall viewership of CodZone. That combined with the severe inactivity in their chat. Now, they did have activity of chat, but it looked roughly more like 50 viewers than 1,000. I think if you've been on Twitch at all, you know what traffic looks like in comparison. And you could even say, oh, well, everybody was watching, so, they were kind of just like lurking. Even music channels that have, I am looking at roughly right now, for Insomniac Music, 656 viewers currently. The chat is more active than the 1,000 that they claim to have. All of this to say, into the final point, that CodZone on its own, as it was built, didn't even function properly. Avidity was basically told, hey, instead of the $100 that you're asking for 2 contracts, we're going to give you $20. She said, no, I'm not going to do that. And they said, okay, well, how about you join the company? We'll give you equity. You'll make a hell of a lot more money off of that. That didn't happen. They essentially told her, hey, yeah, you have equity. And she said, okay, cool, show me. And they write it on paper, get it on contract. And they essentially said, well, no, we don't want to do that. And she said, well, I built all of the document forms and logins and all of this. So if you're not going to pay me for my services, then, you don't have access to them anymore. They said, oh, well, then you're holding us hostage. She said, no, I just want to be paid for the services that I have done. Fair enough. But no, they didn't want to do that, and they kicked her out. The other thing was from Matt's statement, basically double speech in the contract. In one portion, it lists Matt as a founder. In another portion, it removes that foundership from him so that Dylan and Cheeto can do whatever they want. I come out to cite all of this together to say that each of these on their own could be fought against. And and he has spoken to 1 or 2 of these, but stacking them up and up and up and up doesn't look good. And people were even citing, I had this information, but I didn't want to come forward because he sends his people after you. At the start of the CodZone exposure, that's what you saw. You saw names being dragged through the mud. You saw their credibility challenged and not their story challenged. Or their credibility challenged before their story was challenged, so that hopefully nobody believes them. I'm here to say that for those folks that have come forward, I at least believe you, and I think a lot of the community is shifting to believe in you guys. I want to document all of this here so that you can be reminded, if you have to the dangers of setting yourself up to get taken advantage of. I've worked with people personally where they have said, so-and-so brought this contract to me or this sponsorship deal to me, and I ended up wasting money on it because what they said that they were going to give me is not what they gave me. To end it off, be careful of who you work with. And yeah, don't allow people's clout to cloud your judgment just because somebody wants to potentially take advantage of you. That's all I have, and thank you.